All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. So, there's been a lot of people talking about this whole Julian Edelman situation. There's been tons of articles on it as well. But apparently, Julian Edelman, former Patriots wide receiver, hopped on, I think it was the Colin Cowherd show, and called out Aaron Rodgers about, of course, missing mandatory minicamp, with the unexcused absence. I actually have the exact quotes here. He said, "I think it's a bad look for your leader for whatever reason to go and miss an unexcused absence. I was with Tom Brady in his 25th or 23rd year, and he started missing OTAs here and there, but he never missed a mandatory minicamp. I just thought it was a bad look." He goes on to say, "I'm a big Aaron Rodgers fan, but if I was in that locker room and Aaron Rodgers wasn't there for 3 days on the mandatory minicamp, having only played 4 snaps off of an injury, when we have 2 new receivers, a bunch of new linemen that we added to the team with a CBA that doesn't allow us to practice a lot, I guarantee there's 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys in that locker room sitting there saying, where's he at?" Also, I know a lot of people do things differently, but God forbid the New York Jets start 1-3 at the beginning of the season, which they start with the Niners, Titans, and Patriots, and someone else regardless. We all know the Patriots are no good, but that defense is still the same defense, and that's who Aaron goes against. If they go 1-3, this is going to be such a big distraction for that locker room because everybody's going to be talking about it. This is New York City, the media capital of the world. So this is kind of my take on it, right? There's going to be people that don't think it's a big deal at all. There's going to be people that think it's an extremely big deal. There's people that are like, in a perfect world, you want Aaron Rodgers there, but he's not. At the end of the day, it is just the 2 days of practice. But at the same time, there is a standard. The other 31 quarterbacks are there. We understand how last season went. We understand the pressure on this football team. Edelman does make a couple good points about, all these new faces, all these new, offensive linemen, and, just the questions on offense. You kind of want, again, in a perfect world, you kind of want your starting quarterback there, the leader, the face of the franchise, there as much as possible. Just continuing to have at-bats or cracks at the bat, if you will, on making sure this offense is firing on all cylinders to start the season off. But here's the reality: whether we don't really care whatsoever, whether it's just a little bit, whether it pisses you off, he skipped it. Rodgers skipped it, right? He skipped mandatory minicamp, and the New York Jets, Saleh himself said it was unexcused. So because he's skipping a mandatory portion of the offseason, the Jets have got to fine him. To me, it would be like quadruple the size of the story if Rodgers skipped it and the Jets did not fine him. Because at that point, you're like, all right, this is clearly a massive issue. That's a horrible look. That would be one of the worst looks in the NFL. I mean, that's like that's the example or definition of a player being bigger than the team, where he can just skip a mandatory part of the offseason and there's no repercussion. What does that say to the rest of the team? Where's the mandate? But again, that didn't happen. He missed it. He skipped it. You kind of want him there, but he's not there. So what are the Jets going to do? They're going to fine him. Edelman, throws it, hyping up his guy Brady there. I mean, this to me just, it doesn't really seem all that, controversial in my opinion. I think Edelman, just coming from a Patriots perspective, is just, being honest. And this is a player that, would not like it if he was on the Jets. And again, there's a ton of people that kind of feel the same way, right? They wouldn't like it either. But at the same time, there's a bunch of people that really don't care whatsoever. One thing that I felt was pretty interesting or relevant is that a lot of the Jets players seem to not really... They seem to brush it off, in a sense, in these, in a bunch of the media sessions, the interviews, the press conferences and whatnot, which is a good sign. It would not be a good sign if, like, Breece Hall hopped on the podium and was just like, yeah, I feel like I can speak for everybody. We wish Rodgers was here. We haven't talked to him. We have no idea where he's been. Then we would be in trouble, right? Then it's like, all right, we got the face of the franchise alienating himself from the team. What the heck is going on? What's the plan moving forward here? But again, it didn't really seem like a single player had an issue with it. It definitely felt as though Saleh, wanted and needed Rodgers there. But again, nothing we do, nothing we talk about is going to change Rodgers skipping mandatory minicamp. It is what it is. Training camp's ahead. we're turning the page. We're not looking backwards in the rearview mirror on mandatory minicamp. We're focused on training camp. Now, if Rodgers is skipping days of camp, all right, different story. Right, different story completely. But, 2 days, it's in the past. It is what it is. We're focused on the future here, right? We're moving forward. So anyway, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.